Want to know the fastest way to ruin a good moment? Try comparing it to somebody else's. Think about it. You finally get a raise. Feels good, right? Until LinkedIn cheerfully informs you that someone you barely remember from college just sold their startup for $1 billion. Suddenly, your extra $200 a month looks like pocket change. You start hitting the gym. You're proud. You're sore. You're making progress. But then, Instagram decides to show you a 19-year-old fitness influencer with an 8-pack, a sponsorship deal, and a comment section calling him the next Greek god. Now, your 3 measly push-ups feels like a cosmic joke. You book a vacation. There's beach, sunshine, bliss. Until your feed casually drops a photo of someone else on a yacht in Bali, sipping cocktails while you're still on hold with the airline, arguing about a seat upgrade. And just like that, your paradise feels like economy class purgatory. That's the cruel trick of comparison. No matter what you do, there's always someone higher on the ladder. Here's what no one likes to face. The ladder never ends. Climb one rung, it stretches further. You climb faster, it pulls away quicker. It's like chasing a mirage in the desert. The closer you think you get, the further it drifts away. But we don't stop, because comparison whispers the same lie every time. Just a little more, then you'll feel enough. The trouble with comparison is, it doesn't just make us jealous of others. It makes us blind to ourselves. You could be sitting in a beautiful apartment, one you once dreamed of, sipping coffee from a mug you bought on that trip you thought you'd never take, and still feel poor, small, behind. Why? Because someone else just built a bigger kitchen with marble counters you'll never cook on. It's absurd when you think about it. We don't measure the joy by what's in our hands, but more from what's missing from them. It's like eating your favorite meal while staring at someone else's plate. No matter how good yours tastes, theirs is always going to look better. And when we compare, we don't just see what's there, we project what we want to see. A couple walks past a house, 2 cars in the driveway, kids playing in the garden. And she says, "Look at them. Inherited money, an easy life, perfect happiness." But what she doesn't see is that behind those windows, the parents might be fighting through illness, grief, or burdens they'd give anything to trade away. That's the hidden cruelty with projection. We assume someone else's life is whole, and in doing so, we forget to ask ourselves, what am I missing inside that I need to imagine it out there? And if you think that feeling disappears once you make it, look closer. Avicii had fame, wealth, and songs the whole world sang, and yet the pressure to keep outdoing himself became unbearable. Robin Williams could fill theaters with laughter, but inside, he fought a silence no amount of applause could reach. Even Jim Carrey once said, "I wish everyone could get rich and famous, so they'd see it's not the answer." That's the poison of comparison. It doesn't stop at ordinary people. It infects the very top. Actors with Oscars still ask why someone else landed that role. Musicians selling out stadiums still check who's ranked 1 spot higher on the chart. Models with global fame still stand in front of mirrors, convinced they're not enough. We compare our behind the scenes with someone else's highlight reel. Their Photoshop with our mirror. Their lucky break with our ordinary Tuesday. And the cruelest twist, we call this motivation. But what it really does is keep us running, not towards our dreams, but away from the simple, quiet truth that maybe, just maybe, we already have more than we dared to hope for. It's easy to shake your head at celebrities, to think, if I had what they had, I'd never complain. But let's be honest, you don't need an Oscar or a stadium tour to feel the sting of comparison. You just need Wi-Fi. Your neighbor pulls up with a new car. It's not even your dream car, but suddenly, yours feels smaller, older, a little embarrassing. Your friends post vacation photos. You weren't even thinking about beaches this week, until now, and suddenly, your living room feels like a cage. A colleague mentions a promotion. You weren't aiming for it, weren't even interested, but in that moment, your own title sounds like a failure. That's how comparison works. It doesn't ask you if you wanted the thing. It just whispers, "They have more. You have less." And the whisper is enough to make you restless, distracted, dissatisfied with what's right in front of you. The irony? Someone else is probably looking at your life the exact same way. At your family, at your apartment, at your tiny wins you barely noticed, and they're wondering why they don't measure up. The harsh reality is, this cycle has no finish line, because every time you catch up, someone else is already 2 steps ahead. And so you scroll, you compare, you ache, until life becomes one long checklist of what you don't have. And the cruelest detail, you never get to enjoy the very things you already fought so hard to achieve. The job, the relationship, the home. They're invisible, blurred out by the endless chase for what's next. So maybe the real thief isn't the neighbor with the car or the colleague with the title. Maybe it's that voice in your head, the one that keeps moving the goalpost no matter how far you run. So what do we do? Do we quit Instagram or move into the woods? Pretend like we don't care? Not quite. Because the point isn't to escape the comparison, because you can't. It's wired into us. The point is to redirect it. Instead of measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel, measure it against maybe yourself. Not the perfect version you imagine, but the real one from last week or last month, maybe last year. If you want proof, just look back. That version of you would kill for some of the things you already have. The job you once prayed for is now stress. That relationship you once dreamed of is now normal. And the body you once fought for is now not enough. It's funny how quickly victories turn invisible once you move the goalpost. So here's that shift. Don't play the game of better than them. Play the game of better than before, because that's the only scoreboard you'll ever have a chance of winning. And when you catch yourself scrolling, aching, comparing, take a pause. Look around. Notice the small wins you never cashed in. The rent you managed to pay, the laugh you shared yesterday, the project that's slowly and quietly taking shape. None of it will look flashy online, and that's exactly the point. Because the best parts of your life aren't designed for applause. They're designed for you. And maybe, just maybe, the moment you stop chasing their story is the first time you actually get to live your own. Comparison will always whisper, "Look there, not here." But you stayed to the end, which tells me you're ready to look differently. So let's trade lenses for a moment. I've given you mine. Now give me yours. Tell me in the comments where comparison shows up in your life, or what it has kept you from seeing. I'll be here, not just reading, but answering. Because maybe the antidote to comparison isn't silence. Maybe it's sharing. And the moment you speak, you'll find you were never the only one caring.